Krishna to everyone. So we have been discussing these promises of Krishna. So we are in the series of 6 promises of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And we already discussed 2 promises. Let me just quickly see if anybody can recall what we have discussed so far. Otherwise, it will be all gone.
9:22.
Okay, so the first promise was, we discussed 9.22. What was that? Just quick, 20 seconds.
Krishna always personally takes care of his devotees.
Okay, so we discussed one of the promise of Krishna is in Bhagavad Gita. He says that I personally takes care of my devotees. Ananya Shintayanto Mam Yajana Pariyubhasate. Tesham Nittha Bhayuktana Yogakshemam Vahamyam. Very, very famous verse, Yogakshemam verse. This is also famous as Yogakshema verse. Yoga and Akshema means I provides what you lack and I preserve what you have. So that is the first promise. Okay, let me see if others can answer. What was the second promise of Krishna? Anyone online?
Krishna's devotees never perishes.
Okay, Krishna's devotees never perishes. Yes, that is second promise of Krishna that we are discussing. Can you say the verse number at least, if not the verse?
Shipram Bhavati, I think 932, 931.
Yes, that's correct. 931, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Yes. Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Krishna said that my devotee never perishes. That is Krishna's second promise. And now today we'll be discussing Krishna's third promise, which is Krishna quickly delivers his devotees. So that is also another promise of Krishna. So before we begin, let's get started with the prayer. So I request everyone, please fold your hands and chant along with me in the prayers, and then we'll start our discussion. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Bracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pasha Dedeshadharine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So just to give you the background of the verse, today we are discussing another promise of Krishna. This is from the 12th chapter, which is also very famous as the devotional service. So in the 12th chapter, the discussion begins with Arjuna's question, where he asks that the different kind of people who worships you and the different thought process behind worshipping Krishna. So there's one set of people who believes in Krishna's personal form, and there's another set of people, those who believe that Krishna is not a person, but it is impersonal. So what we call as Nirakar, or that understanding. So Arjuna straight asked in the beginning of this 12th chapter that which worship is the best worship? And Krishna, without going round about, he just straight says that one who is my devotee, who's one who is personal worship about my personal form, is the best devotee. And then Krishna also explains Klesho Adhikatarastesham Avyakta Sakta Chedasam, that one who are attached to my impersonal form of worship, for that path is Klesha. That is very difficult path. So Krishna very straight says, and then Krishna builds up, saying that devotees, those who are worshippers of the personal form of the Lord, they are considered the best, as per Krishna's opinion. It's not our opinion. Okay, and then impersonalist, their path is very, very difficult. It's a tedious path. Klesho adhikataras. So much of difficulties on that path. So it is not recommended by Krishna. Okay, so he already established that devotees, those who are worshippers of the personal form of the Lord, are the best. And then Krishna is actually building up, and that is what is our today's discussion, So this is from Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, and titled as Devotional Service, text number 6 and 7. So let us read it, let us recite it, and get familiar with this verse. Maybe 2-3 times we'll recite, and then we'll build up our discussion here. So please repeat after me. And those who are joining us online, you can also repeat, but just be on mute and you can repeat. Ye tu sarvani karmani मयि सन्न्यस्यस्य मत्परा अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्या वेशितचेतसाम्. So let's say it one more time. ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्या वेशितचेतसाम्. Okay, so let us understand this meaning of this verse and then we'll have the discussion. So Krishna is saying here now, after establishing that the worshippers of my personal form, they are the best. And then he says to them, Ye tu sarvani karmani. Ye means those who sarvani karmani. Sarvani karmani means all activities, all karma. Mai sannyasya. Sannyas means to give up. So one who gives up all their activities, mai sannyasya, and they become matparaha. Matpara means they're completely devoted to me without adding any deviation. Matparaha. We'll understand all these terms. Ananyene vayogena. Ananya means we already discussed. Ananya chintayando ma. So we need not to discuss again, but Ananya means without any deviation, one who is completely devoted to me, one who has given up all his activities unto my service, and one who is engaged in Mam Dhyayanta Upasate. He is always absorbed in me, meditating on me, and he is worshipping me. So that is the criteria. So, which basically specifically referring to the devotees, those who are worshippers of the personal form of the Lord. This is the criteria. That sarvani karmani, all their activities, whatever they do in their life, it is devoted in the service of Krishna. There's no personal activities as such in their life. The so-called activities in this material world is also actually for Krishna's service. So that is how a devotee should be. And then ananyenava yogena. There's no other deviation, and they're completely absorbed and worship the Lord. To those devotees, now this is Krishna's promise. He says, Tesham. Tesham means to those. See, already set up the criteria to whom. So that is the 6th verse. And he's saying, Tesham, to those people, ahem, I, samuddharta. Uddhar means to deliver. So I delivers them. To whom? Yedu sarvani karmani mai sannyasya matpara. Tesham aham samuddharta. I delivers from where? Mrityu samsara sagarat. I personally delivers them from where? Mrityu samsara. So this material world, this material existence, this bhautik jagat is explained as Mrityu samsara. Right. So Krishna says, to those devotees, I personally delivers them. And when you would deliver Krishna, how long we have to wait? What Krishna is saying in the 3rd line, Bhavami na chirat. That is the promise of Krishna. Chir means very long time. They say chirkal, like for a long time. What Krishna is saying here is na chirat, without any delay, very quickly. So Tesham aham samuddharta. So that criteria is there. To those people, I become the deliverer, samuddharta, from mrityu samsara sagarat. The samsara sagar, which is mrityu samsara sagar, and nachirat, without any delay. Immediately, I delivers them. But Again, Krishna is saying, Mai aveshit chetasam. Their chittam, their consciousness, their heart, their mind is completely absorbed in me. Mai aveshit. So that is the verse. So the promise of Krishna here is what we are discussing today. Krishna is saying that Tesham Ham Samuddartha Mrityu Samsara Sagarat. I become the swift deliverer of the devotee. So devotee need not worry. But first we have to become the devotee. Right. We cannot expect Krishna that you should deliver, but there is a criteria. Okay. So that criteria is Yedu Sarvani Karmani Mai Sanyasya Matparaha. So what is this Sarvani Karmani? So Sarvani Karmani means, let us understand this little bit here. All kinds of activities, whatever we do, Sarva Karma, then it should be only for Krishna. As he's saying, Mai. Mai means unto me. So let us discuss this a little bit more, that how every activity can be done for Krishna. Like you are working outside in the corporate world and so many other things we have to do. So can we do that for Krishna? So how do we understand that? Okay, so let me just hear from the people. We have already discussed all this concept in the past. And let me understand the understanding of the audience here. How do you think that Sarvani Karmani Mai Sanyasya, and how we can engage all our activities in the service of Krishna? What's the practical ways of doing it? It sounds very nice to hear in the lecture hall, but how do we apply it in our day-to-day life?
Everything is energy of Krishna.
Hmm.
Whatever we do, computer work or anything, we think that it's Krishna's.
Okay, so if we think that it is Krishna's energy, that's enough. How do we surrender?
Always remembering.
Whatever we are getting up early in the morning, we should think like that we are getting up for doing service of Krishna. When we are making breakfast, we are not making for ourselves, we are making it for Krishna. First we offer him, then we have the prasadam. If we are going to office, we are going for early because God has given us a role, and for performing that role, we need to do this service, and we offer the some part of salary to Krishna. So this offering is very
Yeah, so that's the understanding. So one thing we should understand is most of the people think that we should think that we are doing everything for Krishna, which is great. Most of the people, they won't even think that but it is not limited to thinking. You can think so many things, but your thinking should align with your actions. So we can think, oh no, everything is for Krishna, but when it comes to sacrificing, because Krishna is saying, Mai Sanyasya, you have to give up. Give up means, not give up means don't give up the activity itself. Krishna is not saying that you are working in some corporate job, so give up your corporate job. No, that is not the understanding. He is saying, give up that activities unto me. Means whatever you are doing, the fruit, the result of that activity should go in the service of Krishna. That is the meaning of giving up. So that is an art which Krishna is actually asking, and Krishna is teaching in Bhagavad Gita that how every single activity we do, morning to evening, can be engaged in the service of Krishna. As some of the examples Mataji already quoted, like if we all had to eat, so eat. Krishna is not saying that give up the eating, don't eat, now you have become my devotee. It's an impractical instruction. Krishna says, whatever you eat, first you offer it to me with love and devotion, and then take Krishna prasadam. So the idea is everything in our life we accept should be Krishna prasadam. Now prasadam is not only, we should expand our understanding about prasadam. Prasadam is not only just what we eat in the temple. Everything can be practically prasadam in your life. Whatever we do, everything can be prasadam. Prasadam means the remnant of the Lord. Something which is offered to the Lord and then we receive it as a remnant, that is prasadam. Prasadam, the literal meaning of prasad means the mercy, the kripa of the Lord. So when you offer it and then you rest of it, when you accept, receive it, and that is considered as the mercy of the Lord, prasad of the Lord. So everything, either it is food or it is your day-to-day activities, taking care of your family, your kids, your husband, wife, corporate job, everything, you just offer it in the service of Krishna. And for that, you need some practical guidance and discuss among the devotee that how practically implement all those instructions. But the idea is that everything should be utilized in the service of Krishna. Now, Prabhupada explains in even simpler words. Prabhupada says everything should be done for the pleasure of Krishna. How I am satisfying Krishna. So if we learn this art of Bhagavad Gita, then your only one criteria in your life of doing anything is whether I am pleasing Krishna by this activity. And Prabhupada gives the example of Arjuna. So Arjuna's example is very, very apt. Arjuna did not want to fight because the opposite party was his own family members, his relatives, and all of that. So naturally that he was reluctant to fight. And that is how we see that how whole entire Bhagavad Gita builds up. That initially was saying, no, I'll not fight, I'll not kill, and all of that. But then Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, what is Arjuna's resolve? He says, Karishe Vachanam Tava. He did not say that I'll fight or I'll not fight. We should understand very carefully. He said, Arjuna, after hearing the entire Bhagavad Gita, he says, Karishe Vachanam Tava. That I'll do Vachanam Tava. Whatever you say, I'll do. If you say fight, I'll fight. If you say don't fight, don't fight. So that is what it is. So Krishna pleases you to fight and kill my family members, I'll kill them. Because my only interest is to please you. That is expression of my devotion, my love. And I want to just please you. I don't care. And actually, you can see in this world also the perverted reflection of this kind of love. Like sometime when a boy and girl they fall in some relation, and say nowadays the things have changed, but in the previous times there is a lot of objection from the family for the intercaste marriage and all that, right? And then girl want to get married to the boy and they oppose. So they go and fight and they'll argue and they do whatever best they can do, right? To please whatever boy and girl. So they can fight with their own parents, with their own relatives. They don't care. Sometimes, some statements are made like, if you go and marry this boy or this girl, you're outcast, will not accept in family. Say, I don't care, not accept. So this is, of course, it's a perverted reflection of love. But love means, the idea of love is that you want to please the person, the object of your love. Then you don't care. There's no other criteria actually. Only criteria is pleasing that person. So that is what it is. So Sarvani Karmani means whatever activities we are doing in life, it should be done for pleasing Krishna. That's the criteria. And this Arjuna is the best example. And many, many devotees are like that. We can see in the scriptures. So that is the understanding. And also some of the things like, when you're cooking, you're cleaning and all of that. Another simple way of doing that is while you are engaged in so many other activities, you can also keep chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So your consciousness is absorbed in Krishna. This is Matparaha. So we need to understand this Matpara. So this expression of Matpara has been explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam, actually in a beautiful verse. This is very, very famous verse, another famous verse from Bhagavatam, which explains, so Krishna is saying Matpara. And this particular verse talks about Vasudeva Para. It's famous as Vasudeva Para verse. Vasudeva is Krishna only. So this verse explains Vasudeva Para Veda, Vasudeva Paramaka, Vasudeva Para Yoga, Vasudeva Parakriyaha, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapa, Vasudeva Paro Dharma, Vasudeva Paragatihi. So this verse explains that everything is Vasudeva Para. What and all, there are 8 items has been explained. So we are talking about the Matpara, what it means. Matpara means Matpara or Krishna Para or Narayana Para or Vasudeva Para. It's all same meaning. So Vasudeva Para Veda. If somebody is reading the scriptures, what is the purpose of reading the scriptures? So that we become Matpara, Vasudeva Para. Sometimes people read the scripture just to, become more familiar with some quotations and all that, and they learn how to present scholastically, and that result in some kind of proud in that we know, we can quote, we can debate. And these things you can see sometime, all those TV debates, some people will come, they will quote something from Ramayana, something from Bhagavad Gita, some Vedas. But you ask them, do you really practice any of those things which you're quoting? So the purpose of Vedas is Vasudeva Para Veda. And Krishna also explains in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that Vedesya Sarver Ham Eva Vedya. The purpose of all the Vedas is so that one can understand me clearly. That is the purpose of Veda. So whatever activity you are doing, if you are reading the scriptures, Vasudeva Para Veda. And then read the scriptures to understand, to become a better devotee of Krishna, know more about Krishna, know about more loving reciprocations about Krishna. That is the whole idea of reading the scriptures. So that is the meaning of this Vasudeva Para. And then Vasudeva Paramakha. Makha means sacrifice. If you do any sacrifice, it should be to please Krishna. There is another verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Let me see, anybody can quote. Give me some clue. Krishna says about this. Same thing. And whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever sacrifice you do it for me. Okay, so please start reading Bhagavad Gita.
Karamana.
Yes, say again.
9.27. Hare
Yes,
Krishna Prabhu.
9.27 is the right answer.
9.27.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Yat karosi, yat juhosi, yat ashnasi, dadasi, yat tapashyasi kaunteya, tat kurusva madharmana. Krishna says, whatever you do, yat karosi, yat ashnasi, whatever you eat, dadati yat, if you are giving some charity, doing something, tapashyasi, if you are doing some austerity, then tat kurusva madharmana, offer it to me. So that is what is Vasudeva Paramakha. Sacrifice if you do, so the sacrifice should be only for the pleasure of Krishna. Sometimes people do all kinds of puja, some kind of ratha, some kind of sacrifice for some ulterior motives, to get this thing, to get that thing, something like that. Karma kanda. No, that is not the idea. Idea is yagya vahi Vishnu. So scripture says that the purpose of yagya is, or sacrifice is, to please the Supreme Lord. So Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramaka, Vasudeva Parayoga. This yoga is a very common term nowadays, everybody is using, and all kinds of varieties of yogas are available in the market. We are discussed in one of an exclusive session, right? Beer yoga or hot yoga, some different kinds of yogas are there in the market, all nonsense yoga. But the purpose of yoga is this, Vasudeva Para, that how we can become more and more Vasudeva Para, how we become more Krishna conscious. So the yoga, the word, very meaning of the word itself, yoga means to connect, to link. So that's the whole idea. So whatever breathing exercise or any exercise you do on the name of yoga, ultimately it should result in establishing our connection with Krishna. And that is the purpose of yoga. And then it says, Vasudeva Param Jnanam. The knowledge. Knowledge should lead ultimately to understand Krishna better, or to understand our connection with Krishna better. Otherwise, all kinds of knowledge, the so-called knowledge, what we consider knowledge today in this modern age, you will see somebody who's very knowledgeable, but that knowledge, the knowledge of this material world is considered as Jada Vidya. Jada Vidya means which will actually further your bondage in this material world. So that is actually, as per the standard of the scriptures, it is not considered as knowledge. It is not considered as Vidya. It is considered as Avidya. Avidya means ignorance, Agyanta. So this modern education system and then modern so-called knowledge is not actually knowledge. This is, the Shastra says, this is Shilp. This is an art you can learn. You learn how to operate computer and some different skills you can learn. Don't call it knowledge. It's not knowledge. It's not Vidya. It is Avidya. Because it is actually, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of the Acharya, says, Jad Vidya Mayar Vaibhav Jivera Banayin Gada. So he says, all this Jad Vidya, this knowledge of this material world, it is Mayar Vaibhav. This is the opulence of the Maya Devi. She's creating more and more avenues for people to explore. So many things people are, engaged in. And then Jivera Banayin Gada. The living entity is working hard like a Gada, like a donkey. That is how the modern lifestyle is. Nobody knows the purpose of life. So that is what the scripture says, Vasudeva Param Jnanam. So we should know that what is the real knowledge. Knowledge is which makes us more and more Vasudeva Para, Mat Para. That's what we are talking today. And then it says Vasudeva Paratapa. This is also very important. A lot of people do the austerities. They do some vrata, something, somebody is going barefoot on some parikramah, which is great. We have a lot of appreciation for their commitment and their devotion. But ultimately, the purpose of tapa is we should become Vasudeva Para. Otherwise, we have the examples of Ravan and Hiranyakashipu also. Nobody can do tapa like them. So Hiranyakashipu's austerity, you read in the Bhagavatam, that for how many years, for many thousands of years, standing on one leg, not eating anything, not drinking anything, that kind of austerity, an ordinary person cannot even imagine. So he did that austerity, but the result of austerity was he became more powerful demon. So that is not the purpose of austerity. Same goes for the Ravana also. He did the austerity of, to the extent that he was cutting his heads to please Lord Shiva. Who can cut his head in doing some tapasya? Ravan did that. But then he became Ravan. Right? So not that kind of austerity. Austerity means which makes us more and more, which develops more love, intensify our love for Krishna. And then Vasudeva Paragatihi. That Krishna should be the ultimate goal of our life. We have a lot of gatis goal. My goal is to become like this, to buy a house, to finish up my loans, then another house, then another car. These are our goals. There's nothing wrong in that. Have more houses, more cars, but that is not the goal of your life. Goal of life should be Vasudeva Paraha. So that is the understanding of when Krishna is saying, Ye tu sarvani karmani, mai sanyasya matpara. Whatever activities you're doing, ultimately you should become matparaha, Krishna paraha. We should become more and more Krishna consciousness. That is the standard of being a devotee. So sometimes, people just go to some temple and they put some tilak or some saffron color dress, something like that, and they keep boasting Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. Great, because ultimately they're chanting the name of the Lord. But then we should understand what it means to be like a devotee. That is the standard of devotee. If we really want the benefit of being a devotee of the Lord, which Krishna is promising here, that aham samuddartha mrityu samsara zagarat. If you really want that Krishna should personally take charge of my life and delivers me from this bondage of material existence, then we should meet this standard. So just simply just going once in a week, which is also great, appreciated, but then we should know. We should not become complacent. That's the point. People sometimes think, that's enough. Once in a week, temple, once in a week, one round of chanting Hare Krishna, once in a week, read one verse, and we are devotees, which is great. This is the beginning. But then we should know that we should become matparaha, ananyena yogena, and there should not be any other deviation. So whatever we do, even your day-to-day life, your family life, your corporate life, everything can be, if you learn the art, you can become more and more matparaha, Krishna paraha, Krishna consciousness. That is the whole idea of reading Bhagavad Gita. We should become that, right? And when we do that, actually, there's another verse. It says, Kechit kevalaya bhaktaha vasudeva parayanaha. So it says, if somebody develops this keval bhakti means ananya bhakti, vasudeva parayanaha, then the result of that bhakti is, actually Bhagavatam explains, agam dunvanti karsneya niharam iva bhaskara. So that the power of that bhakti, the devotion, ananya bhakti, or this matpara is, it will vanish all kinds of miseries from your life. Like example is given here, niharam iva bhaskara. When the sun rises, it immediately dissipate all the fog. So similarly, in our life, when the bhakti, that matpara bhakti, ananyeva yogena, this bhakti arises in our life, then you are already free from all the miseries. Nothing can impact you. No misery of this world can really affect you. That's the power of this devotional service. So that is why Krishna is saying that you have to become matparaha. How? Yetu sarvani karmani. That all your activities should be ultimately lead to become matparaha. So that's the understanding here. And to that person, Krishna is saying, Teisham aham samuddartha mrityu samsara sagarat. I'll deliver that person from this samsara sagar. What is samsara sagar? So every morning we sing this song. Our day begins in a temple. Our day begins with singing this line. Samsara dava nala lead loka tranaya karunya ghana ganatvam. So this is how the Srila Prabhupada established the system in Hare Krishna temples. That every morning when we wake up, get ready, come in front of the Lord to receive the blessings, and darshan opens. As soon as we open the darshan, start singing this song, Samsar Davanal. So Prabhupada has actually set up a system to remind ourselves every day, because we are very forgetful in this world. In just no time we forget that where we are actually. We are so ignorant. Like the example is given, sometimes you see in the slaughterhouses, some animals, they're getting slaughtered. And there's another like goat or some other animal. They're very happily busy with eating some grass. And next to that animal, there's another animal is getting slaughtered. Right? But that person, that another animal is so lost, they won't understand that next is my turn. They think I have little green grass, enjoying. That is what his life is. So isn't it the same situation for all of us? Every day we see that people are dying so many different ways, miserable death. And then we are busy with some green grass. You think, yeah, my life is all set. So that is why the scriptures are actually intended to remind us every day. So we sing this song, Samsar Davanal. This material world is considered, explained as the Davanal, is like a forest fire. So when we are in this material world, we should always remember that you are amid of the forest which is on fire. Now think of a situation that somebody is caught into a house which is on fire, and you'll be aramse eating and sleeping and enjoying. How much will you panicked? You will put all your time, energy, efforts, everything just to exit from the house. You will take all the possible help. You will use all your strength, intelligence, everything to make sure that you are jumping out of the house, because you realize that you are in a house of fire. So exactly that is what is our situation. But somehow this is the illusory energy of the Lord, Maya Jagat. So nicely we are placed into the mid of the fire, and we are thinking that we are enjoying. So it's a reminder every morning. We're saying this samsara dava nala lead loka, that we are here caught up in this forest fire. And Tranaya Karunya Ghana Ganadvam. What is the escape way? What is the way? So Praptasya Kalyana Gurnana Vasha Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. There's only one way to come out from this forest fire, is by the mercy of a bona fide Guru who is receiving the mercy from Krishna. So to receive the mercy of the Lord, the Supreme Lord Krishna, there has to be the via media, which is the bona fide spiritual master. And then when this Guru comes and they shower the mercy, they guides your path to come out from this forest fire. So that is how we begin our day, to remind ourselves. So Krishna is saying, Mrityu Samsara Sagarat. This material world is a very, very dangerous place. And it has been explained in the Bhagavatam also. How it is explained, this expression comes, it says, Padam Padam Yat Vipadam Natesham. This material world is explained as Padam Padam. At every step, there is a danger in this material world. That is what is the reality of this world. And we experience day in, day out. We never know that what is their next step. We jump out of, the house or from office, and so many things can happen. And it keeps happening with people. So this is Mrityu Samsara Sagarat. So sometimes people can ask, what is the need of, we are enjoying the life. Krishna is coming, saying that I'll deliver you. Why he has to deliver? We are happy, we are enjoying. Family, good wife, good kids, very nice kids like Prahlad and Dhruv. They also chant every day. And then husband is very nice. He doesn't ask any questions. Wife is also very nice. She also doesn't bother me. So we can caught up in all those kind of traps. There's nothing wrong. Definitely we should have the good family, good kids, good relations and all of that. But still you are in a forest fire. Right? As the Prabhupada explained, like from the scriptures again, he says having a good family versus not having a good family is like you are in a first class cell or third class cell, but still you are in a prison house only. So somebody's family is not good, and husband, wife, no good relations. So many things are going on, and a lot of tensions, anxiety, and all that. It's like you are in a jail, but in a third class cell. Not much facility, you're not happy. But somebody puts you in a first class cell. Some nice AC is running, some nice sofa is also given, nice food is also given. So this is wonderful. And you forget that you are still in the jail only. Right? So all these nice things in this material world, like a nice family, nice money, there's nothing wrong. But we should not forget that you are still in the jail. Still you are in the prison house. So the idea is not to settle down in the jail. The idea is how to come out of this jail, how to come out from this forest fire. samsara. Now, how you can, and also actually this samsara, this material world is one is compared with the forest fire. Also, there is another analogy is given, another example is given, is explained as samsara sagarat, sagar. Bhavabandhani they call the samsara sagar means somebody is drowning in the ocean. What is the possibility that you are at the mid of the ocean and you can cross the ocean by swimming yourself? How much ever expert swimmer you are, can somebody cross over the ocean? When you have some swimming competition and the expert swimmers just go and check that how much they swim, few meters, and that was very quickly they have to just touch that and then they become the winner in just swimming few meters. And that's all. So if you ask that, okay, you swim few kilometers, somebody is really very, he build up a lot of stamina to swim. But can someone cross over in the ocean? Not possible. So that is why Krishna is saying it's not possible to cross over this ocean, samsara sagarat. So you need the help. So help is needed from the top. So Krishna is saying that help I'll provide you, provided you become this kind of a devotee. Sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha. And then tesham aham samuddartha mrityu samsara sagarat. I'll come and I'll deliver you from this material existence, samuddartha. Right. So actually we see this example of Gajendra from the Bhagavatam, that how Gajendra was an elephant, and we have discussed in one of the exclusive session on Gajendra Moksha. I explained in detail about the story in the past time and the insights. Somebody can want to learn and you can go back and check. So in that we know that how Gajendra was caught up in the water by a crocodile, and he found himself soon. So he was very, very powerful. He was Gajendra. He's the king of elephants, very powerful, very influential. But soon he realized that he was in a kind of a helpless situation. And then because of his past life where he was a devotee and he was a great devotee of the Lord, so he had got some impression from his past life. So in that kind of a distressful situation, Gajendra suddenly reminded about those past impressions. And when he found himself in a very helpless situation, and then he was asking the help his family, the wife elephant and the kids elephant and some other elephants, fellow elephant, they're all standing there. They're also trying to pull him to help him to come out from that clutch of the crocodile. Nothing worked. And that is where this particular verse comes. And then that verse explains that he was very intelligent because of his past impression. He came to the right conclusion. What was his conclusion? Let me read this. So this is from the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Gajendra's conclusion, after trying all different means and all of that, then he realized that nothing is working out. And then he come to this conclusion. He says, the other elephants who are my friends and relatives could not rescue me from this danger. What then to speak of my wives? They cannot do anything. It is by the will of providence that I have been attacked by this crocodile. And therefore, I shall seek shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always the shelter of everyone, even of great personalities. So that was the conclusion of Gajendra. That all my family, my wife, my friends, because that is what is our confidence in this world, right? Ahamameti. So we think that Deha Patra Kalatradishu Atma Sanneshu Asaswapi. So that has been explained in the Bhagavatam as Atma Sena, Atma Sanneshu. We think I have a big army, big Sena that will protect me. What is my Sena? My wife, my kids, my connections, my friends, my influence, my money, my power. I have, political connections. So I'm safe. This is illusion. This is Atma Sannesu Asaswapi. This is explained as Asat Sena. Is not the real enemy, in the real army. It cannot protect you. So what can protect you is Lord's calling out the Lord for seeking the help. So that was the conclusion of Gajendra. So when Gajendra came to this conclusion, and that is when he started calling out the Lord. And he didn't know who the Lord is, but he know that I had to call out the Lord. And then he started offering the prayers that is famous as Gajendra Moksha prayers, right? And he's addressing that you are the Supreme Lord and all of that different, ascriptions he was giving to the Lord. And then finally he found at the end of his prayers that somebody is sitting on the Garuda carrier and coming to rescue him. And he understood, and Lord is there, right? And as soon as he saw the Lord, he plucked a lotus flower in his trunk and he offered to the Lord. So that is what it is. So Lord becomes the swift deliverer. That is what Krishna is saying here, and we see the example. But you have to call out. Sometimes what happens when calling out is also very superficial. We're calling out, but we have still a lot of confidence in our abilities, in our connection. And you take calling out Lord also another option. One more option, try this also, why to leave this option? But Krishna doesn't want that. Krishna wants complete ananyaya yogena, undeviated, surrenderance. That is when he will come. He said, still you have some reservations, still have you confidence in your abilities and some other things. Try. I don't want to unnecessarily intervene. But when you completely, like we are discussing earlier, on the example of Draupadi, right? When she was disrobed in the assembly, so she tried. She went to the husbands because she thought that Panda was very powerful. Arjun, Bhim, and all of that. The celebrated warriors. Nothing worked out. Bhishma Deva, nothing worked out. Nobody in assembly, nothing worked out. She herself started holding the sari with hands and with the teeth. Nothing worked out. Dushasana was also very powerful. And then she realized that nothing, like Gajendra. And then she realized that nothing will work out. I had to surrender to the Supreme Lord. And then she raised the hand, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. And that is when Krishna comes. So that is what is required, complete surrenderance. Yedu sarvani karmani, mai sanyasya matpara ananyena eva yogena. When we come to that level, then Krishna says, immediately, Tesham aham samuddartha mrityu samsara zagrat. I'll become the swift deliverer to that devotee. I'll come and deliver the devotee. So we see that how Krishna came and to deliver the Gajendra, right? So that is what. And then another point is, Krishna says, Bhavami na chirat partha. When I'll deliver, na chirat. In no time, you just surrender. Why it is taking so long? He said, Prabhuji, Krishna is not doing anything. We have been going to temple, we have been chanting, we read the Bhagavad Gita, we memorized the entire Bhagavad Gita. We have done so many things. Krishna is not coming and doing anything. Why? Still we are holding back. So we need to understand where we are holding back. We are not surrendered. We think that we are surrendered. Externally, we might be doing a lot of things, but there's no real surrenderance is coming. Because Krishna's promise is that as soon as you surrender, then aham samuddardha, I'll immediately, very quickly, I'll deliver you. So that is what is Krishna's. So Prabhupada explains in this context, just to understand, Nachirat means like there are different paths, there are different kind of spiritualists. One is Bhakti Yogis, that Krishna is talking here about. The Bhakti Yogis, the devotees. But there is different kind of other yogis also, Gyan Yogis, Karma Yogis, and Stang Yogis. They also have the path, but their process is very tedious, very troublesome, very difficult. They have to do a lot of austerity and they have to purify themselves in so many different means. So that process takes very long. What Krishna is saying here is this process of surrendering, matparaha, it doesn't take any time. Immediately I'll deliver, nachirat. So one should not see, that is the beauty of this process of bhakti yoga. And that is why, as I explained in the beginning of this 12th chapter, Krishna established that bhakti yoga is the topmost, that the worship of the personal form of the Lord, which is basically referring to the bhakti yoga, say topmost. Why it is topmost? There is a reason. Reason is this, that you not to master any of the art, that I had to learn this, I had to learn that. No, you just learn how to surrender to Krishna. And immediately Krishna will come and delivers you. But what kind of surrender it is? Bhavami na chirat partha, mai avesita chetasam. Krishna is saying your cheta, your consciousness, your heart, your mind should be completely maya aveshit, should be completely absorbed in me. And then immediately will come. There is a very nice story in this connection, which comes that there is this Brahmana, so who was a very, very poor Brahmana and a very great devotee. So one day he just developed the desire that I should offer something to the Lord, and some sweet rice I should offer, nice sweet rice. But he was so poor that he did not have any means even to prepare the sweet rice, to get the milk and some whatever items are needed. Nothing was, he didn't have the means to do that, right? So then he thought, okay, I cannot do that in real, I'll do in my meditation. So he sat on the bank of the river and he closed his eyes in deep meditation and he started preparing the sweet rice for the Lord. That was his offering. Everything in the closed eyes in the meditation. Nothing is happening in real outside. With the closed eyes, he thought, okay, I should get nice, golden pot for cooking. In meditation, you can make in whatever pot you want. So nice, beautiful golden pot with nice milk, nice, best quality rice. And nicely he is cooking this that sweet rice. It's thickening, becoming very nice and all of that. And when it was prepared, then he took out that in one of the bowl, another golden bowl, very nicely, beautiful. And then he was about to offer. Then suddenly the thought crossed, "Oh, before offering, let me check. It is not too hot to offer because Lord has to eat. So it should not be too hot to offer. Everything is meditation. So to check that, he touched his finger to check that it is not too hot. When he touched his finger, and then suddenly his meditation broke. And then he found that his finger was actually burnt. And then there was happening, and then there is a conversation between, like, there is a discussion in the Vaikuntha, the Lakshmi ji and the Supreme Lord Narayana. They're discussing, and Lord is smiling, and Lakshmi ji is wondering, like, why you are smiling suddenly like that? And the Lord says that, I'm smiling to see the devotion of my devotee. No, he's so absorbed, and he offered that, and then he got burnt. So then immediately he says, now I have to go and get him back here. So Lord immediately comes in his carrier and he takes him. So that is what is Krishna's promise, that aham samuddharta. But condition is, mai aveshita chetasam. Your consciousness should be completely absorbed in me. When that stage we reach, then Krishna is ready to take you back, to deliver you from the samsara sagar. So that is the condition. So in Ramayana also, when Lord Ramchandra was going for this one, for Vanvas, right? And then there was this boatman, Guya. So this boatman was actually held to cross on the river, the Saryu. So then initially he was not agreeing actually. He was also very smart, nice devotee. So devotees are always smart, that they find all means to serve the Lord. So when Lord Ramchandra and all the Sita, Lakshmana and Ram, they came, they asked the boatman that, can you help us to go across the river? Say, no, 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 I'm not interested in taking you. Say, no, no, we'll pay you. He said, no, I'm not interested only in taking you. He said, why so? He said, no, I have heard that, that you have some history, and I'm a little doubtful about you. Say, what is that history you're talking about? Say, you have the history of you one time touched one shila, one stone, and that turns into a lady, a Ahilya. So we know that how. So what if you touch my boat and it turns into a lady? I already have one at home, having tough time to deal with it. And there will be one more, right? So these are all sweet reciprocation. So he said, no, no, that is the history. If you touch, because the dust of your lotus feet, if touches something, it turns into something. So I'm a little doubtful. Say, but we have to go. So what is the solution? Let us talk about the solution. So the solution is, you should allow me to wash your feet nicely. And make sure that not even a single particle of dust is there at your feet. Then only I'll allow you. So Lord also understand, right? And then he says, okay, do as you wish. So then he's nicely, washing the feet of the Lord. Who get this opportunity to serve the lotus feet? Pada Sevanam. He nicely did the seva. And then he says, my dear Lord, now you can come. And then, he helped them to cross the river. And then they got down. Then they thought that we should pay boatman, that is his business. So the mother Sita, she took out the ring and she was offering as a pay, that you keep it as your pay. So he was again very smart. He says, no, 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 no. Actually, there's no, what do you say, exchange. There's no pay or something among the equals. So, you keep it for yourself. We are like equals. So that's okay. So now Lakshmana was a little furious. How you can equate yourself with Lord Ramchandra, who you are? to tell yourself that equals? He said, no, we are equal. I can explain also. Then he's explaining, see, my job is this boat. So I help the people to cross the river. And your job is also to help the people to cross the samsara sagar. So today I help you to cross this and I'm not taking any pay. When it comes to my turn, you should help me to cross this ocean of material existence. So that is how we understand the Lord is saying here, Mrityu samsara sagarat. Lord helps cross over the material existence, right? But situation is this, the condition is this, my aveshita chetasa. There's no other criteria actually. There's no other criteria. Whether you're a very rich person, you're a very educated person, you know all the Vedas, you are good looking, you're not good looking, you're educated, non-educated, no other criteria. And we have the examples in the scriptures that Lord has delivered all kinds of people from all sorts of categories. We see in the Ramayana itself, Valmiki actually we were discussing last time. He was not coming from any Brahminical background. He was not born in a Brahmana family. He was born in a low class family, some Shabra family, which is considered like a Shudras. But he is such a great devotee, delivered. Right? We know another example of the Shabri. Shabri was also a low born, mentally speaking. So she was not like very educated or high class Brahmana, very educated. And Lord personally goes and give the personal reception, accepting the seva like that. Monkeys. So you're not to be human being, in fact, to get Lord's mercy and to get delivered. Even the animals can get Lord's reception. The only thing is, Sarvani Karmani, Mai Sanyasya Matparaha, Mai Avesita Chedasa. These are the conditions. Then externals does not matter. That who are you? So like that, and we have another example of this, Jambavan, deer, another animal, monkeys, low class people, Vibhishan, who was born in a demon family, not in a Brahmana family, Rakshas Kul, but he was delivered. So the point is, there's no external criteria. Criteria is this. Mai aveshid chetasam. That if somebody is absorbed. Now, let us talk about how this absorption comes. We're talking about this absorption. From where this absorption will come? So absorption come only when you are in love with someone. There's no other way that one can get the absorption. Right. So when somebody is really fall in love with someone, then naturally there is absorption. Externally speaking, you might be engaged in so many worldly activities, but in your mind, in your consciousness, you'll be always absorbed in thinking about that person. Right? Again, the same example. If somebody is in love, so externally they make sure that nobody should be able to make out, but internally they might be thinking constantly about that person. They cannot take that person out from their consciousness. So that absorption comes when we are in love. So the whole idea of this Krishna consciousness is, or this practicing Hare Krishna mantra, chanting and all of that is, that we develop the love for the Lord. That's the whole idea. And then when we reach that state, then Mrityu Samsara Sagarat, Tesham Ham Samuddartha, I become the swift deliverer. And also before that, we should understand that Prabhuji, yeah, these are all lofty goals. It sounds very nice that Krishna will deliver us from the material world, but still we had to be in this material world. So far we are here, we have to function in this world, so many responsibilities and so many things. So then what is the point of all those things? That will be at the end of the life. But then we should little bit understand more from the scriptures. What Krishna says that there's one verse which explains Yashyam vai sruyamanayam Krishna parama purase bhakti utpadyate pumsam shok moha bhayapaha. So it's not only just Krishna will deliver us from this samsara sagar, but when you are in this samsara sagar also, he's saying shok moha bhayapaha. Yashai vai sruyamanayam Krishna parama purase. Somebody is absorbed, engaged in Krishna parama purush shruyamanayam. If you are absorbed in hearing about Krishna, basically reading, hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, then what will happen? What will the result of just hearing this? So now we are all sitting here. A lot of devotees are joining us online. So what we are trying to absorb ourselves in hearing about Krishna, Krishna's words, Krishna's promise, Krishna Gatha, Krishna's reciprocations. So what happens? This verse explains when somebody absorbs in hearing, then what happens? Bhakti utpadyate pumsam. in that person, first of all, bhakti will develop. Just by hearing about Krishna, you will develop the bhakti. Bhakti is basically the love and devotion. So we're talking about how to develop this love. Just by hearing, we'll develop the love for Krishna. And there is example of that, Rukmani ji. So Rukmani never saw Krishna in her life before she got married, but she heard a lot about Krishna from so many sources. In those days, there was no like going out, meeting people and all that, but she heard and she developed a lot of love and she decided that Krishna will be the love of my life. Like in modern language, we can say like that. But she devoted herself in the service of Krishna. And she went to the extent of writing the first ever love letter. So love letter, first ever written by Rukmani to Krishna. She wrote, she expressed her heartfelt feelings. That Krishna, I have already dedicated my life for you. Please come and accept me. And then she managed to send that letter through a Brahmana to Krishna. And when Krishna received, Krishna came later to kidnap Rukmani. Right? So the point what I'm saying is, bhakti utpadyate pumsam. One can develop bhakti just by hearing about Krishna. That is the power of this hearing, this absorption we are talking. And also another thing happens is bhakti utpadyate pumsam shok moha bhayapaha. Three things happens. Shok means lamentation. Moha means illusion, and bhaya means fear. One will becomes immediately free from shoka, moha, and bhaya. So you're already getting delivered while living in this world. You're free from the lamentation, you're free from the fear, you're free from the illusion. How? Just by absorbing yourself in hearing about Krishna. Mai avesit chedasam. So these are all so interconnected. We should learn, we should develop, we should practice it. How we can read every day, how we can hear more, how we can chant more, how we can be Mai aveshit chedasam. How we can absorb ourselves more and more. Darling, not to ring the bell and distracting the people. You can do without that also. Okay. So that is what is one thing. Shok, moha, bhaya, bhaya. So how many of you think that we are fearful in this world? If we are not fearful, then we are definitely in illusion. Then you are in illusion. We all are actually in a very fearful situation in this material world. Very insecure. This is the nature of this world. So if somebody doesn't realize that, then you may not be the last one bhaya, you are in the moha, in illusion. So we become free from shok, moha and bhaya because you understand Tesham aham samuddartha mrityu samsara sagarat. Krishna will deliver me, Krishna will take care of me, so I need not to fear of anything. Like that. So that is the result of Maya Aveshit Chedasam. Also, it has been explained another verse that when we hear about Krishna, when we observe ourselves in hearing, this Maya Aveshit Chedasam, develop the love for Krishna, and all of that when we do. So it has been explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam is, it says, Shanvatam Sakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hirdan Dastoya Bhadrani, Vidunoti Suhrta Satam. All the abhadras, all unwanted things, unwanted desires in our heart, all the materialistic desires, you will be free from all the desires. So Krishna is saying, I'll deliver you. He'll deliver you from all the unwanted desires that we are maintaining, we are carrying, and we are getting sucked away by all those desires to fulfill those desires. Shoka, moha, bhaya. And then Krishna says, Tada rajastamo bhava, kama lobha dayashaye. Just by hearing about Krishna, by developing this Mai Aveshit Chedasam, what happens? Tada rajas tamo bhava, the influence of mode of passion and mode of ignorance, rajo and tamo, which will result in kam and lobh. Kam means lust, lobh means greed. So Krishna is saying one become free from the influence of mode of passion, mode of ignorance, lust, and the greed. So that is the result. So when Krishna is saying Mrityu Samsara Sagarat, so we should not think of the deliverance that Krishna will come and pick us and then take us. Before that also, you are free from materialistic desires, which is constantly burning our heart. Last time we discussed that song, Anadi Karama Bhale, Odi Bhavar Navajale. So we, since time immemorial, we have fallen in this material existence. And then constantly, day in, day out, our heart is burning. So you're free from that. You're free from kama, lobha, you're free from shok, moha, bhaya, and all of that. That is what is Krishna's promise here. Okay, so last part of the discussion. Before that, it's important. This long pending thing that I wanted to share here with everyone. That what is this deliverance also, which we call in our language as mukti, moksha, whatever you call it. We'll talk about that also. But let me just pause here for a moment and see anybody has any quick question or any comment and so far what we discussed. Those who are joining online or anyone in person, feel free to ask any question or any comment. Okay, no questions. People are already free from all the doubts. Yes. Process of surrendering. So all activities, good or bad, can be offered to Krishna. Yeah, the bad activity is not recommended to even do. Good activities also, they're good only when it is offered to Krishna. There is so-called good activity is also causing the bondage. It will result in bad activity only. Considered as bad activity. It's causing the bondage for you. Right. So yes, whatever activities we do, we should make sure we should learn, we should figure out that how we can offer the result of that activity in the service of Krishna. That is the only way that we can be little protected. Otherwise, the so-called activity, so-called good activity in this world is also not good, because that is also causing the bondage in this world. So how you call it good? And ultimately, it is keeping us in the prison house only. So unless any activity, the result of activity is offered to Krishna, it is not even considered good. It is not auspicious. It is inauspicious only. Yes.
How to gauge ourselves, if we are already, we are giving up our knowing our limitations and how to gauge ourselves, like we just try everything in our power, like what we see in our control, to see if we can change the influence the result. But how to gauge ourselves if we are improving?
Okay, so the question is, how do we gauge ourselves that we are really improving in our spiritual life? Are we really somewhere close to the devotion of all those great devotees? Yeah. So one thing is, I would say here is that actually how to gauge our devotion or surrender or Sharanagati is a very difficult task to do by yourself. We cannot gauge. We are not qualified to gauge. Right. So there has to be some invigilator. You write the exam and you say, how do I gauge that? How do I perform? Somebody has to, do that. So that is why the scripture says that whatever spiritual activities we do, we practice that under the guidance of a bona fide guru. So guru will guide us if we are going in the right direction or we are really progressing or we are stuck somewhere at some point, something. So they have that vision, they have that power, a spiritual potency by which they can always guide our path. So that is the safest path to progress, instead of we only judging ourselves. Because the tendency is our mind is very expert in tricking ourselves. So you may have your own reasons to justify what you're doing, and then to convince yourself that this is also devotion, this is also Sharanagati, but there might be some kind of sense gratification involved in that. We may not understand. So somebody has to tell us, no, 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 this is not the right thing. And that job is Guru's job. The bona fide teacher will guide us. Okay. Any question or any other comment? Okay. So I'll just close with the last part of this deliverance. That what is this deliverance is actually discussed about. We understood so far that Krishna will come, he'll deliver us, Nachirat Partha, Maya Veshid, and all of that. So now think of a situation wherein Krishna will come and delivers you. And after that, where he delivers you? Deliver means from one place to somewhere somebody is delivering you. Where do you go? Is a question now. Where would you go? So when we say the moksha or mukti, right, where do you go after that? What mukti? What is mukti? So, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this mukti has been explained. There are 5 kind of different mukti, 5 kind of moksha. So it's very important to understand so that you aspire for the right thing. You click on the right option. There is A, B, C, D, E. 5 options are given. So this verse comes in the 3rd kind of Srimad Bhagavatam, which explains this 5 kind of muktis. It says, Salokya sasti samipya sarupya ekatvam api uta diyamanam na grananti vina mat sevanam janaha. So this verse explains a pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation. Pure devotee. So what we are talking about, that category only. He does not accept any kind of liberation. Which any kind? Says sarupya, salokya, samipya, sashti, and ekatvam, which is also known as sayujya. So there is 5 technical names. I'll explain what it means. So saying pure devotee does not accept any of those things. Then what you are aspiring for them? 5 kind of muktis you already rejected. What do you want? Becoming too demanding. Right. So let us understand this 5. I'll just quickly explain what are these all different kind of muktis. So the first mukti is called Salokya Mukti, wherein you get the opportunity to live on the same planet. Salokya, same lok. So you go to the Vaikuntha planet after deliverance, and you are given the chance to live in the same planet. But okay, you also become the Vaikuntha Vasi now. You also live here, share the apartments, whatever. So Vaikuntha Vasi, right? Pure devotee is not interested in that. He said, I don't want to go to Vaikuntha also. So then where do you want to go? We'll come to that point also. And then there is Sasti. Sasti means that liberation. This liberation is basically that Lord gives the opulence to the devotee equal to his own opulence. That in your opulence, you become as good as the Lord. All the opulences is there. Pure devotee is not interested in that also. We are struggling here to get big house, big car, big this thing, big money. To the extent that Lord is giving the opulence equal to his own opulence. Devotee is saying, no, I'm not interested. I'm least bothered about that. That is Sasti. So Salokya, not interested. Sasti, not interested. Then Samipya. Samipya means to be personal associate of the Supreme Lord, that you get the chance to be close to the Lord. But always you are close to the Lord. What else you can ask for? Sakshat, Bhagwan is there and you are just close to him. Say, I'm not interested in that. Now think of that. What you can think beyond all of that? You are in the Vaikuntha Loka, having the opulence same as the Lord. You are close to the Lord, but the pure devotee is not interested in all of those things. Can we think of something that there's something more you can ask? And then another category is Sarupya. Sarupya means you get the same roop. Like we know that how Krishna means all attractive. He's very, very attractive. So Lord blesses the devotee. Get the Sarupya means equally attractive like the Lord. So if somebody gets the Sarupya Mukti, then you will also look like Krishna. Very attractive, very beautiful. So then somebody might ask the question that, if Krishna say, some thousand people, those who got this Sarupya Mukti, so there will be some thousand or some millions of people will be roaming around in the Vaikuntha, those who look like Krishna only. How do you make out that which is Krishna and which is the other one? Right. So yes, you get the beauty of Krishna, but there is just one difference, which is called basically the Srivas. So there's a mark on Krishna's chest, which is called the Srivas. That makes Krishna different from all others. All other look same like Krishna, but that mark is just makes separate Krishna from others. Okay, so Salokya, Sasti, Sarupya, Samipya. Not interested. And then this is Sayujya or Ekatvam. Ekatvam means, many times you might have heard, the people say the goal of all spiritual practices is go and become ek, become one with the Lord, from Nar to Narayan, something like that, merging into the Brahman, Brahma Jyoti, and all of that. So actually, that is the worst thing that a devotee would ever aspire. Actually, in one of the Acharya, he explains, Prabodhananda Saraswati, he says, Kavalyam Narkayate. This is called Kavalya. Kavalya means Sayujya or Ekatvam. So the devotee is considered this ekatvam, becoming one with the Lord or merging into Brahman, merging into Lord, is considered by a devotee as narkayade, worse than the going to the hell. Says, better I'll go to hell, but I don't want to merge with the Lord. It is considered to that level. So the 5 items is already rejected. What is the 6th option? What is this mukti that we are talking? Samuddartha, mrityu, samsar, deliver you, where you deliver, what you will receive, what you will achieve. So that has been explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very beautifully. Says, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam, va jagdisha game. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is acting like a devotee, is the Supreme Lord, but is acting like a devotee and teaching us that how a devotee should be and what a devotee should really aspire. Because sometimes you can be a devotee and you might be ending up aspiring something dhanam, janam, sundarim and all that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, na dhanam, na janam. Janam means fan following, likes, follow and all that, modern age. And then na sundarim, beautiful man or woman, whatever. Jagdish, kavitam, like people should glorify me and all of that. Say, I don't want. Say, what you want, sir? Something you should want. So he says, mam janmani janmanishware, bhavatad bhaktir ahetuki tvai. This is the essence. We should catch this essence. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I don't even ask for to deliver me from this cycle of repeated birth and death. Mam janmani janmanishware. I am ready to take janma after janma, take birth again and again in this material world, provided ahetuki tvai. If you give me the seva, the service at your lotus feet. What kind of service? Ahetuki. Unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service. That is what is the aspiration of a pure devotee. So far the seva is there given to the devotee. He doesn't care about salokya, sarupya, sasti, samipya, sayujya, dhanam, janam, sundarim, kavidam, nothing. Seva is there, devotee is happy and satisfied. That is what is the highest thing that one can aspire. And that is the most confidential knowledge which has been revealed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. People won't understand. People go to the temple, they ask this thing, that thing. Somebody got a little more sense, read the scripture, say, no, 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 I don't want all this materialistic thing. I want moksha. I want mukti. Devotee, when at this level, he says, I don't want mukti also. I want seva. And for seva, I can be here in this material world. I can continue to be taking birth again and again in this material world, and that is the highest aspiration. So that seva Krishna can give us anytime, provided you are sincerely seeking for that seva opportunity. And that easiest mean to do that seva, what we are talking about is, especially in this modern age, is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when we do the chanting of holy name, that is what is the seva, which is very, very rare. Why I'm talking all this? Because it is so freely available. Every time you come to the temple, somebody will be telling you, chant, chant, chant. So these people, anyway, their job is to just keep asking. What's a big deal? You should understand that this is the rarest thing that one can have in their life. It is beyond all the sarupya, samipya, salokya, sasti, sayuja, and all of that. It's very difficult to grasp and understand all of those things. But when we read the scriptures, then only you'll come to this conclusion that this is the highest thing devotee can aspire, which is service to the lotus feet of the Lord. So we should aspire for this seva by chanting, reading, and all of that. And that is the whole purpose, whole idea of doing all these activities. Coming to the sessions, listening, reading, going to temple, that's the purpose. So we should always remind ourselves that why we are going. We are going there for seeking some seva. Okay, so with this, we'll pause here and we'll do the seva of chanting one round of Hare Krishna mantra. If anybody has any question, you can put in the chat. Maybe after the chanting, we will take the questions if anybody has any. Okay, so I think everybody is familiar with the chanting. So we chant 108 times.